Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or hello, hi, welcome if you are new. If you have not seen my face before, my name is Ava Tysinger and this is my YouTube channel. Let me put my gum somewhere because I literally took it out and I don't even know why I did. There's been a lot going on with my life. As you could tell by my channel, I am a Christian. Being a young Christian for me, sometimes it's a little bit hard. I grew up a Christian, which I'm very blessed for that. Grew up going to church, so I always knew that there was a God, Jesus, heaven, hell, all of that, which the Bible says train up a child. And so it's just definitely important to share about the Lord at that young age so you can grow up and know who God is. And so you can always know that and always come back to that. Just because I'm a Christian, I don't think I'm perfect. I know I'm not perfect. And I know if it wasn't for the glory of God, I would not be here. My only job is just to share what God did for my life. I'm not perfect and I make mistakes. It's not an easy walk. It's hard. We live in such a cruel world and so much temptations, but it's not impossible is what I'm saying. With God, all things are possible. So I know it's not impossible, but it's also not easy. But I am going to finish the race because I'm going to be going to heaven. You feel me? This summer has been a lot and I definitely backslid. I went back into sin. It just has not been a good summer. It's been very stressful, very emotional, just mentally a lot, and I've been going through it, not even with the summer, but my senior year. I became saved in 2020, and that is when I gave my life to God. So I've been walking with the Lord for like 2 years now, about to go on 3. And so when I gave my life to God, I started making Snapchat videos. Like I just started talking about God on social media, like my Snapchat and Instagram. And I realized like, Ava, you're talking too much. And so I know that was God that gave me the creative idea to start this YouTube channel. That is how I started my channel. I know that was definitely my calling from God, is to do what I do. Sit here and encourage and tell people what God has done for my life. Not everyone's obviously a believer of God, and I know that. But I know that too, that God is very much real and heaven and hell is a thing. And I'm going to preach about God, okay? I'm going to let people know, because as a disciple of God, that is my job. There was just some specific people in my grade, definitely senior year, just did not accept that Jesus in me. And you know, like when someone brings up about God or something, like it's always that one person that Satan will really just try to use someone to try to mess with that Jesus in you. Giving my life to God and stuff, I definitely have lost friends as a young Christian. That was hard. The last 2 years of high school was hard. Let me pause and say this. Just because I'm saying it was hard, that does not mean I would ever trade being a Christian, because I wouldn't. I know that as a Christian, we're going to go through trials and tribulations. Jesus went through the most and he got hated on by the world. So if he got hated on, I know I'm going to get hated on too. I'm a human being, so like obviously I have feelings. It hurted that giving my life to God, like some people really won't accept that Jesus in you, and it sucks. You know, God's seen the conversation. So honestly, like me giving my life to God, if that causes me to lose friends, whatever, like I'm not going to not like serve God. Like they just weren't meant to be in my life anymore. Some people are only in your life for a season. When you start talking about God, and definitely when you're bold in your faith, people look at that. People are waiting for you to mess up because it's the devil. And so people are going to watch you. They're going to wait for you kind of to like make a mistake. Again, the last 2 years, there was just people really trying to prey on my downfall. I just heard like a lot of, oh, that's not Christ-like. I'm not saying that there wasn't people that supported me, because there was, but there was also some people I could tell did not accept that Jesus in me. So it was hard. In high school, I felt very alone. Just felt like I don't feel like there's anyone in my age group in my school that really like serves God or like believes in him. Growing up as a Christian, not like I don't have anyone because I always have God, but just in school it was just kind of different. And those times where I felt like those kids just irritated me and weren't for me, but God was with me, and so I held on to God. And they would just do the smartest little things too. Let me tell you the trials and tribulations of the summertime. This summer, guys, your girl has honestly been kind of on her rebel mode. And I'm not saying that like in a cool way. Like, I really have kind of lost myself this summer. I'm back on track now, but like the beginning of the summer after I graduated, like it just seemed like things were going downhill and it was just so annoying. I'm gonna also put some pictures up. 3 or 2 days after I graduated, I was with my friend and we were driving on the golf cart and we were all just having fun, just carefree. And she was driving it and she did a little swerve and I fell off, my other friend fell off, and I hit my head on the cement and it just sucked. And so I had got a concussion and it hurted so freaking bad, bro. Like, I really thank God for my recovery, and I had got a concussion literally like 3 days after I graduated. The devil has really been trying to take me out this summer, y'all. Like, I'm telling y'all, like, he's really been trying to take me out. When I had got my concussion, I was very much annoyed. My family was getting on my nerves, but it's all forgiven now, which is why I'm telling you guys. I felt like no one was catering to me. I felt like no one cared that I fell off the golf cart and got a concussion. I just wasn't really feeling the vibes from the people around me. Then that made me realize, like, this is why God is always just going to be there. I can always rely on God. I got into a car accident and someone's vehicle, and it sucked. Now, this is really key because it's one of the main factors of what happened this summer that I gotta tell y'all about. It was really scary. It really was an eye-opener for me, not only to like my life, but just being on the road and just how quickly things can happen, how patient I need to be, and how careful I need to be. Thankfully, nobody was hurt in the car accident, but I was making this left turn. The car just boom. Definitely was scary. And I know that it could have been prevented, but I can't go back, so this is why we're just talking about it. Getting into this car accident has definitely shifted a relationship with this of mine, and it really just kind of was my breaking point. And after it had happened, I felt so guilty. I just felt all these negative things about myself, that I felt so unworthy. I felt like a mess up. I felt like a disappointment, and like my mental health went downhill. It just felt like my life was at an all-time low, that it just made me go back into sin. Also just very embarrassing. I just did not expect me to get into a car accident. That has definitely shifted this relationship, but I know that God will restore it. It was definitely such a learning experience. I was just crying a lot, felt so ashamed. I couldn't even go ahead and tell this person like what I did because I was just so afraid of what was gonna happen and they were gonna hate me and not forgive me. Like, it was like that. My mental health just wasn't there and I just wanted to die. Another trial of the summer was finding a job. I was literally broke, guys, for like a good month. And that was honestly my fault because God had told me to apply to this job. And he was like, girl, apply to this job this day. And I did not do it. So that was my fault. So I didn't have a job for like a good month. I was trying to find a job and get into a job, and it was just such a long process. I just kept stressing because I was just like, I need to save up for school. Like, I don't have any money. And so it definitely was really messing with my faith because I just was irritated, like worrying, not knowing how am I going to buy this and that. And so that's just also not good because when you trust in God that everything's going to be all right, but when you worry about it, it's like you're not trusting in God. And so I just wasn't trusting in God, and I didn't listen to God because if I would have applied for the job that he told me to that day, I would have gotten to the job that he wanted me to be at. And I just felt so broke. It was tough for me because I just felt like I don't have money. And so definitely just comparing myself a lot was a big one for my senior year. And so that kind of just carried into the summer because I would see people going on their little senior trip and going to the beach, and it's just like, why am I still in my town? Like, it sucked seeing that. Comparison came in the way, like, big. Wow, Ava, people are over here living your best life. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're still here. Basically, after that and everything, I ended up getting a job. It's just such a very long process, but I'm grateful I just have a job now. As maybe some of you guys know, or maybe not, if you're a new subscriber, which hi, thank you so much for subscribing. I am going to be an actress, and that's something I know, and something that my aunt has told me is I don't need the school to take me there, is I only need God. I got accepted into Point Park University, and it was so exciting. It was such a nerve-wracking thing and a very long process. A few months ago, I thought that was the school that I was going to be going to, but obviously plans have changed because I'm not at Point Park. Now that's okay. Now beforehand it wasn't okay because I just honestly did not know what was going to happen. God had showed me that I was not going to go to Point Park anymore, but I was going to attend a different school. At first, it kind of did suck because I just felt like I wasted so much time. I just kind of was just thinking like, God, like, how come you had me apply to this school? I was putting the blame on God. I felt like it's something I should have prayed more to because I felt like God never really told me Point Park was for me. He just told me I was going to get accepted into Point Park. So that was definitely some misclarification on my end. Point Park, that wasn't the choice that God had. And so now the school that I am going to be attending, I know this is where I'm supposed to be. And I was supposed to go to Point Park for acting BFA, but it shows me that I do have the talent, obviously, because I got into Point Park, and it was such an experience to go to Point Park and see what it's about and see all those people. But now thinking about it and truly understanding God's plan and direction, I just know Point Park was not the school for me. It was just also very expensive, and it was just a lot. So, and I think that's okay. I don't think it's embarrassing to say that. There's a whole bunch of different colleges, and that's okay. I'm still going to college. I'm just going in the spring semester, and so I'm excited. It was stressful, but now it's figured out. I'm also changing my major and everything, but that would be a whole video in itself, so just stay tuned. I'm actually really excited because I feel like God just has some assignments that he wants me to do while I'm still in my town to keep spreading his word. Morally of it, like my mental health this summer and like my relationship with God just was not there. Backsliding back into familiar sins, it's so hard because there are still sins that I struggle with. And there are still things that I did before God saved me that I still struggle and kind of use within today. And I'm not gonna name it just because, but like we all have our own struggles. And so I really just have not been feeling like myself. I feel like everything happens for a reason. Everything in life really is a learning experience, but you're always gonna get through them on the other side. And even through the bad of the summer and my trials, they all been learning experiences. It's definitely just been teaching me a lot as a person. In the ugliness of things, there's always beauty at the end. So there has been so much that I have just been learning about my relationship with God, his purpose that he has for my life, and just the great things that he is about to do. And so to really like kind of end off on a conclusion and good note, some of those things could have been prevented, but God does not go over our will. I feel like also some of them had to happen to teach me the importance of my life and of things. It could be so easy to backslide and not come back to God. And so I'm grateful that God has placed good people in my life that care for me, that just love me, and that want to see better for me and want to see me get better and correcting me for my wrongs. And obviously, if it wasn't for God and his grace, it has been teaching me a lot. Definitely freshly just turned turning 18. God is definitely just telling me to refocus on him, and that is exactly what I'm going to do. We just can't play around with our souls anymore about where we are spending our eternity. Jesus Christ is coming back, and it's so important to just really stay on track, stay prayed up, and definitely in the times that we are living in today, like so much crazy stuff's been going on. The devil knows his time is short. He is trying to get so many people to curse God. The devil comes to rob, steal, kill, and destroy. Definitely in the last days that we are living in, we have to just keep our faith. We have to stay with God. We have to stay prayed up. We have to encourage one another and be there for one another and lift each other up, because people are dying every single day. And so many people are literally meeting God right now and either going to heaven or to hell. I just thank God so much for bringing me back and having me really realize, like, Ava, you need to refocus. You need to get back on track. I have an assignment unto God, and he has called me to do great things, and it is important for me to get back on track. It's important for me to share my testimony and to tell people about God. God is just so real. Like, all of this stuff is so real. And basically, guys, I'm just telling you, like, to stay encouraged. Like, whatever you are going through, it will come to pass. Whatever you are going through, whoever you are, whatever age you are, you have to know that it's going to pass. You have to keep that faith in God, because without faith, it's so impossible to please God. You need to speak that life into your life. And I'm not only just saying it to you guys, like, what I'm saying to you guys is something I'm going to practice when I preach, because I've just been realizing, like, if I don't get up and make the change for my life and put in the time to spend time with God, do his will, you know what I mean? I feel like God definitely has trusted me, and I'm just grateful that he still has allowed me to be here. I'm gonna finish the race. I'm about to put this picture up here on the screen that I think I found on Pinterest or something. It was just so motivational. The whole world is in God's hands, and he has everything covered. That's something that a lot of people forget, is we do serve a living, true, wonderful God who sent his son Jesus Christ to die for our sins so that we may choose to give our lives to him to be saved. When you walk in this world with God, he's always going to have your back, and I need you guys to understand that. When you walk with God in this world, he's going to have your back, and he's going to be there for you. Being a Christian, it's not all about the blessings and the religion of it. It's actually about the relationship that we have with God, the love that he has with us, and how he sent his son to save the world. And so it's just so important. It's so real, and it's so very true. It's important for me to represent God good and to not represent him bad. And so me in this little rebel stage, I'm not representing God the way that he deserves to be represented. That is why I'm coming on here and sharing my testimonies, that I have fallen back into sin, but I know that God still loves me. His mercy goes on forever, and that I'm coming back to him. And that's really the mindset that you have to have. Like, you really have to keep running and just finish the race with God, because this is an individual walk, and time is running out. God is truly just about to do so much miraculous things. That's why it's important for me to get back on track, because I don't want to delay my own blessings from God. God knows it was a hard senior. God knows it was a hard senior year for me. So I just know that even through the trials and tribulations, I'm still just going to trust in God. Not saying all that's easy sometimes, but I'm saying that it's definitely worth it. Giving my life to God at a young age has definitely saved me from a lot, and God has blessed me with so much wisdom. I'm just grateful to have that and to use it, and to not be dumb and not use it. I'm grateful for his word, and just how important it is to also study your word. Even when I was in high school, and even being a young Christian, and even if people don't accept that Jesus in me, that still gives the glory to God. God just really gives me a reason to keep living. We would not be here if it wasn't for God God's love and his mercy. That is why I'm going to keep going. I'm not giving up. I know this video is going to encourage someone because I prayed. Just give God a chance before judging him, because you are so very loved by God. I hope you guys are doing well. Thank you guys for tuning in. Literally, me sitting here talking to you guys through the screen, I'm literally proof of what God can do. Having my faith in God, I know that my life is already figured out and planned out by him. And so I'm just learning how to keep trusting in his plan, to keep my faith in where he's taken me, because it's going places. We are going places. So we just always got to leave off on a positive note. So much great things are about to happen and are already happening, because it's already in the books of God's plan. And I hope you guys just have a great rest of your day. Bye.